Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see so many of you guys on live here. Welcome, welcome. Man, it's a great day today. Um, so welcome. This is our week. I'm so excited to share a lot with you guys. I've got my workbook over here. I hope you have yours with you. This is Mental Stamina Physical Health Edition. Um, a lot coming. But the reason I love this summit so much is because it really brings it all together. A lot of you know I work with people in their mindset, and that is a piece for me that was missing. I had worked on my physical health. I had a nursing background, and that was the area that felt like needed addressed the most for me. But what I didn't understand at that time was that the root of so many things comes down to how we think and how we feel and what's going on with us emotionally, spiritually, and all of those things. I have so much to share with you today. I'm really excited that you're here. A couple housekeeping things first before we really jump in and get started. You guys have a workbook. It's in your email. If you want to print that off, that'd be great. There are replays sent out every day shortly after the session, and those will be taken down eventually. Usually we leave them up for about a week for you guys to have time to go back and listen to them. But I know how I am. If I have forever to do something, then I will take forever to do it. So this is to really encourage you to get on there, watch the replays, try to keep up as best you can. I know that life happens and that we're all busy, but here's the thing. We all have 24 hours in a day. And we can get very distracted very easily. And so, if your health is something that's important to you, because you will only go as far in life as your physical body will take you and as your mind will take you and your spirit, like the liveliness that you have inside of you. And that is energetics. And so, there's so many pieces. I say so many, there's really not that many pieces to the puzzle, but I think it's really beautiful to be able to bring it all together and to see how it's connected and maybe some links in your chain that might be missing or be weakened. Anyhow, I hope that this is something of importance to you this week. So, we do these summits about every 6 to 8 weeks. So, it's going to be a while before we do another one. And I really just love to share this information. Like, it is so important. Like I said, I have a nursing degree and I learned a lot in nursing school and I paid a lot of money to learn things. But I will tell you that what I apply, I guess, to my life now is what I've learned afterward. Like I had the basic knowledge and understanding of how the body worked, but the way I live my life now is from self-study that I've done post college. It's never too late for you. And you're always, I think, as long as we stay open to learning and willing to learn, we can continue improving our quality of life. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for perfection. I'm not here to have you do a million more things. I'm here to help simplify things into what really matters, and get to the root of some things before we start moving forward wanting to like just fix things. Like it's really getting to that foundational level, and then building upon that. Kind of what we have going on. So the replays will come out. They'll only be available for a short amount of time. So be sure you go back and watch them. That is part of the reason why you have a workbook. If there's notes that you want to jot down, there's things that really pertain to you in the season of life that you're in, jot those things down because the replays will be coming down eventually. Let's see here. There is what is there? A Calendly link. So I also offer free calls. So if you guys, everyone that registered today, if you would like a free coaching call, 30-minute call, we can do for whatever you're needing help with. You know, a lot of times it's something physical, it might be something emotional, spiritual. But I love getting on calls with people because it's great for me to come and share information with you. But information is everywhere. It's all over the internet. You can Google it and find it anywhere. But what is so helpful and what I love to be coached personally myself now, because that's where the change actually happens, is in the implementation of like doing the things that we're learning and in having someone else be a mirror to us to help us see our own blind sides. So we all have blind spots. You know, not one of us is perfect. We get to go in life and, we kind of drop the ball in an area here or there or whatever. And so having a call can be literally those 30 minutes could be life changing for you. So I really highly encourage you. Joyce just dropped the link over in the chat if you want to snag that Calendly link and book you a call. If you don't see anything on there, you know what? I just remembered. I don't think I updated it. I'll go update that Calendly link. I'm going to make myself a note. Y'all, it's a hopping week around here. Like I'm so excited. We have so many things coming. Um, but okay, Calendly, we'll get that updated if you, and so go check that out here in about 2 hours after this session today, and I will have it updated for you. But you know what? If that doesn't work, old school text me. Like just send me a text message, send me a Facebook message. I'll find something on my calendar that works for both of us. Like we don't have to use all the tech. Speaking of tech, I apologize for all of the messages and any confusion that happened. So some of that was human error, some of that was technical error, and you combine the both of them, and there was a lot of messages. So we're working on our system. We love Attractwell is a system that we use like for our CRM to store things, and they're great in certain areas, and then not so great in other areas. And so I do apologize for that. We really wanted people to be here that wanted to be here, and we're not about sending you a bunch of crap that you don't want. So anyhow, I do apologize for that. That hopefully will not be happening in the future. Okay, Joyce also dropped my phone number over there, so I'm an open book. Like, send me a message, shoot, call me, leave me a voicemail, whatever you need to do, and let's get a free 30-minute call booked for you. Okay, let's see here. So, oh, and by the way, Joyce is, she has stepped in and helped me behind the scenes with links and doing all the things, honestly, that are not my wheelhouse. And so I really appreciate her. I hope you've maybe gotten a chance to meet her. Several of you, I know she sent messages to. She is a real person. She's not just an account on Facebook. She was here at our event that we had at the store, the reset event where we did lymphatic drainage, raindrop massage, foot detoxes, and she did some processing sessions. She's amazing. She's done, if you're inside the membership already, she's been in there and we did, she was our guest speaker in there. So I hope that you guys really get a chance to know her because she is an amazing, amazing human, brings a lot to the table, has helped several of our clients already through processing things. And one of our clients that she helped tremendously will be on tomorrow as our guest speaker, and I'm so excited to have her on, you guys, to see she's in her fifth, she's starting her 6th month this month. And so to see the changes that she has made and the stories she has to tell, I'm not going to share all of her story, but I'm telling you, to be honest with you, as a coach, I was intimidated to take her on as a client because of some of the things that she's gone through in her past. And I thought, man, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. I don't know if I'm qualified to help her in that area. But Joyce was here with me, and to be honest with you, she is the reason why I took this client on. And I think us working together has been magic for this client. And so I am super excited for you guys to hear her story. And I really hope that you'll be on live tomorrow. It will definitely be worth your time. You might bring some tissues. Like I am telling you, it's probably the biggest transformation that I've seen in a person in my 3, 4 years of coaching and anything, massage, whatever it is, like in working with people, this has been the biggest transformation I've seen in anyone. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from her. Um, Please be on live tomorrow. Like I'm all but begging you. It will be the biggest blessing for you. Okay, let's see here. All right, so a little short intro to me. I'm kind of following my notes so I stay on track. Um, and there's the table of contents there in your workbook. Today we're talking about byproduct of thought. I'm going to introduce a little bit about my background, and then awareness is key because I think we have to come back to this being aware of something before we're even able to change it. And then tomorrow will be alignment and persistence because knowing something's great, but unless you are in alignment and you persistently take action towards your goals, you will never reach them. And I think in our world today where we can be so sidetracked, so distracted by everything. I see this with my kids. I'm constantly teaching them, like even when we're in the store, we went to the grocery store the other day and they're picking out candy on the way through the aisle. And I said, no, what do we come here to get? Like, this is our list that we came here to get, and that is called a distraction. And so, being in alignment for you and being persistent, there is so much power in that. We're going to talk about attention. We're going to talk about all kinds of things that will really help you, I think, propel you forward in a lot of areas of life. And then on day 3 is going to be more of like a VIP style day where we're going to talk about physical health. So we're going to start with the mind and the emotions and those parts of things. And then we're going to lead into the physical health and how this is impacting so many areas. We're going to cover everything that we can cover on Wednesday. There's a lot of pieces to that, but hopefully you can. I'm going to cover a lot of the most common things. And hopefully that will put together several pieces for you. If there's something that you're interested in, like a health issue that you're having, or mental health, physical health, whatever, if there's something you really want me to cover, type it in the chat or send it to me in a message. That way I can boost that to the priorities for Wednesday, because I guarantee you we're not going to get through it all. So let me know if there's really something you want me to cover, or if you've been in my world and there's something that we have discussed already, or that you've implemented that has been super helpful for you, and that you think that that's something I should share in this summit. Please reach out to me and let me know that too. So this is for you. This is just us showing up to serve and to love you and to give you information and to hopefully not just spill information at you, but lead you through a process, hold your hand through some things, and help you start to really make some changes in your life that you're going to start seeing a difference in things. So, a little bit about me. I went to school at Elk City. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. That always sounded like so romantic and cute for the longest time, until I realized, like, oh, this is it's a little challenging sometimes. We learn and we grow and we become different people. And so I'm not who I was when I was in high school, and neither is he. And to have the patience and the unconditional love and acceptance and respect for each other to grow through those different phases of life has been very much a learning experience. And it's been such a blessing at the same time. I'm really grateful to be where we are today. And so, I've learned a lot about energetics through that as well. And, our relationships play a big role in our physical health and like how we feel. So anyhow, that has been our story. We have three kiddos. They are 9, 7, and 3. Well, almost 7. She's almost 7. And we have our cows. We live out in the country. I love being outside. And once I learned about energetics, I now understand why I love to be outside because it resets your vibrational frequency. So, love flowers, everything outside. So that's a little bit about me. And then for college, I went into nursing because I really wanted to help people. And I realized pretty quickly once I got out of RN school, I was working in a clinic, and I thought these kids, we saw a lot of kids. We saw pregnant mamas, family practice also. And so, anyhow, they kept coming back in and coming back in. And I thought, there has got to be a better way or a different way. Not that I never want to judge anyone for doing something right or wrong. I want to help you find what works best for you and your family. And so, for me, a mama of 13 kids told me one time that her method, I guess, is she tells God, you do the super and I'll do the natural. And I thought, I kind of adopted that phrase and have lived my life by that. I'm going to do the natural and what I feel is in alignment with the way God created to be. And I'm going to trust that He is going to show up in the super way, and take care of those things that I and my humanness can't. And so far, that has worked really well for us and our family. So as going through nursing, I thought this is not the way I want to do things with my family. So when I got pregnant, I ended up using a midwife, did a complete 180 out of Western medicine. Only one of my kiddos has ever had one round of antibiotics, and that was because she had a hand injury that included surgery and all these things. So we did do prophylactic with her, which was not a good experience for several months after. But other than that, like we really try to support our body so that it can heal itself. And it doesn't mean that they never get sick or nothing's ever wrong with them. But for the most part, when I structurally support their body with nutrition, food, supplements, sunshine, rest, detoxing, when I get those foundational pieces in line for them, it is amazing what the body can do. And so, by using our family as an experiment, I guess you might say, I learned a lot, and it's been a great experience for us up to this point. And so then I wanted to help other people do the same thing. I did massage therapy as well, and I noticed that people store trauma, they store emotions in their body. It's a very real thing. And so, someone comes in with the same shoulder hurting all the time. So we start looking into maybe a deeper root cause, or what's going on. And so That was very interesting learning about energetics, which I thought was so weird in the beginning. I was not open to that conversation. I thought people were so odd when they were talking about those things. But I have come to learn through experience that it is real. It is so real. It matters with your physical health, how you feel, and where you're at vibrationally speaking. It plays such a huge role in your physical health, in your relationships, in what you're attracting in your life, in your business, in everything, in finances. Finances, you think about currency, money is currency. It is current. It is a current, like an electrical current. It is frequency. And so it is fascinating to me to see all of these things come together. But for this summit, we're focusing mostly on physical health, but I will touch on a few other things. So that's kind of how I got to where I am, and in a nutshell, and just doing a lot of research. I've joined other coaching programs. I've invested thousands of multiple thousands of dollars, learning things, just learning and adding to what I know. And what I came to figure out was, you know what, I know enough to start helping people. I think a lot of times we don't feel worthy or we don't feel equipped to be able to step out there and do things. You are. And so it took a little bit of for me to finally jump in and do it. And once I have, it has been the most natural thing that has come to me. And I thoroughly enjoy it. I know it's where I'm meant to be. I know it's where I'm aligned to. It is what I'm called to and is what I will show up and do from here on out. With or without you. So, anyhow, I'm very, very grateful that you guys are here. I really appreciate your time. I know that your time is so valuable. So I really do appreciate your time that you would be here, that you'd be on live, that you're watching the replay, however you're watching this. It is an honor that I get to have your attention for an hour today. So I really appreciate that. Okay, let's jump in. We're gonna go to our workbooks. Oh, I didn't print the new workbook. I have my old one, but on my old book, it's page 3. But day 1, the byproduct of thought. That's where we're going. So, if your thoughts can make you sick, then is it possible that our thoughts can make us well? The answer is absolutely yes. So, this is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He is phenomenal, and he is one of the people that probably has convinced me the most how our thoughts correspond with our physical body. So he does summits and things like that. I don't know what he calls them, but they're like week-long retreat type things where people come, they do lab draws, they do brain scans, they evaluate this person on a very deep level. They work with them for a week, a lot of meditation. And he has some meditations online too, if you want to YouTube him. Several like informational videos, a lot of great meditations. And just mindset work that they do with people. They make sure they're nutritionally fed and that they're getting sleep. All of those basic building blocks are in place. And then they do a ton of mindset work. And then at the end of the week, they redraw their labs, they redo their brain scans, their evaluations, and they're noticing that things are changing on a structural or a cellular level for them, down to their DNA is changing within a week of working with them. Like their hormone levels, their digestive enzymes, their nervous system is changing, their brain scans are different, their neural pathways are different, they're reconnecting again, they're forming new neural pathways. And so it's really, really interesting to see some of the scientific facts that are backing up what is being, I guess, hypothesized, if you want to call it that. But for me, being a nurse, I had to have some proof. Like, I wasn't sold on this the first time I heard it. So, if you're not, that's okay. But I hope that throughout these next 3 days, it starts to click, and it's starting to make sense. And I'm just, I think you're here for a reason. And so I'm really glad. But Joe Dispenza, he has been wonderful. Okay, so how do you feel? So think this through for a second so you can really relate and understand. So, how do you feel when you watch a scary movie? What physical changes do you notice are taking place? So maybe your palms start to sweat. Maybe your heart starts to race a little faster. Maybe your breaths get a little more shallow. Sometimes like you even just like start wiggling a little bit, sitting up straight, sitting on the edge of your chair, like what's gonna happen next? I don't know. And so these are physiological responses that your body is having to an outside stimulus. This stimulus is one that you know good and well is not even true. It's not real. It's not happening to you. And you know that. yet your body still is responding. So your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. You have a response no matter what. Okay. So think about what's happening in your life that you do perceive as real, as actually happening, um, and those types of things. So that's kind of in a negative connotation. But if you want to think about how do you feel when you're holding a baby? Well, when a mom holds a baby, she instantly starts to release oxytocin. Her milk is going to let down. Her hormones, her serotonin, dopamine, all of those feel-good hormones are going to release. And so, one of the best things for a mom to do when she's having like a low supply is to just cuddle and hold her baby because it resets her hormones. And so, this is a physiological response that you're having to an external stimuli. Think about like when you're getting frisky with your partner, all the changes that are happening within your body. This is a real thing. So, this is what is happening just by thought alone, okay? And in a positive way and in a negative way. So, in the same way that your imagination or your perception of, say, stress, of whatever's happening in your world, of how people are responding or reacting, or what the finances are doing, or where your future's headed, or whatever it may be, what your perception of is of that thing, that is impacting your body within seconds. It is so fast and it is happening at all times. So, in order to shift the responses that our body's having, we have to go up here and start shifting this. We have to shift how we feel about things. So, if you look down there, the law of the conservation of energy states that energy is neither created nor destroyed. That means everything's already here. That means the Bible was correct when it says that creation is finished. It's all here. When energy is used, it does not disappear. So you're not going to run out of energy. Okay? It transforms into something different. So it doesn't disappear, but transforms from one form to another. So this happens in science, it happens with our bodies, it happens with everything. So you have a thought. There's a little graph down there. You have a thought. That thought leads to an emotion. That emotion leads to a belief. That belief leads you to an action, and that action repeated over time, multiple actions lead to the outcomes that you're seeing in your life. So if you don't like something that you're seeing over here in your outcomes, we have to back it up to what actions are we taking that are getting us to that outcome? Why are we taking those actions? Well, it's because we believe something. Either we believe that it's going to be good for us, so we do the actions and we get good outcomes, or we believe that maybe we're not worthy of more. We are not capable of having a fit body or of being successful or of being the mom we want, whatever it might be, the worthiness or the incapability that we don't believe in ourselves or whatever it might be, that sits over here in belief. Well, why do we have that belief? Because we feel a certain way, usually about ourselves. Okay. Sometimes we project it to be we feel a certain way about other people or circumstances that have happened in our lives or whatever that perception is of the outside. 99% of the time, though, we have to turn that perception inward and say, well, why did I perceive it that way? Or what does that mean about me? Maybe something happened to us as a child, child, like maybe we're molested or something like that. That is not your fault. But what did you then start to believe about yourself after an event like that happened? This sits deep, deep within our cellular makeup. Those emotions sit deep. What do you believe about intercourse with your partner now? What do you believe about your body? What do you believe about your self-worth? How do you trust people? It goes back to a lot of things that those beliefs are causing our actions that we're taking over and over again, and those are getting the outcomes. So we go back and change the emotion. Well, maybe it's really hard to change that emotion. Like you're just stuck in that feeling. Maybe you're stuck in a victim mindset, not intentionally, but it can happen. And so getting out of that emotion and coming back to a thought, starting to retrain our thoughts. Well, what if it's really hard to retrain our thoughts because we have this our thoughts have memory, and so a lot of times we're in our imagination, but we're replaying memories over and over and over again. We can use our brain in the exact same way, and instead of replaying memories, start replaying imagination, creating a new thought, creating a new experience, creating new emotions with that new experience, Remember, I said the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is real, between what happened and what you're imagining. And so we can start to retrain the brain. But what I love about having Joyce on board is she brings in the processing. And it's in such a beautiful, relaxed, laid back way that we can get to our subconscious mind and start to release things from the past and unwind and let these things go and process them for good. And once she's finished with the processing session, that layer is gone forevermore. It's done. And that's what I love about bringing in the work that she does. And then I have a clean canvas and a clean slate to work with a person on their mindset moving forward. And it has been a beautiful, amazing process. And so I hope that wheel kind of makes sense about what is going on, the whole picture. Okay, going to the next page. Just because you think a thought does not mean you have to accept it as truth. Okay, you are not a slave to your thoughts. Thoughts become beliefs when repeated with emotional conviction. You do not have to accept that thought to be true, that you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're too big, too small, too whatever. Like, whatever the case is, there's so much relative truth happening in your mind. It is easier to believe a lie that you've heard 1,000 times than it is to believe the truth you've only heard once. So, what are you telling yourself, or what are you allowing society to tell you? Your family, a teacher, a coworker, a boss, whatever it might be, something that you're making up in your own head to be true about you. Just because you think the thought. Okay, sometimes we can't help our thoughts. Like sometimes they just come to us. That initial thought, okay, no big deal. Then you have an opportunity, though, to accept that to be truth or not. And then you get to change it. Okay, this brought up anger within me. I'm feeling pretty angry about this deal. I wonder why. Or I feel really sad today. Like, what's going on? Like it's okay to explore your thoughts and your emotions, but they're just indicators. Okay. They're not dictators unless you allow them to be. So that's the beautiful part about transforming something is a lot of times these things come up for us. They're in our awareness because we have the power to transform them. And I believe we do that through forgiveness and through unconditional love for others and for ourselves. And I think that's the beautiful part about bringing in the spiritual piece is because if we really understood the power of those two things, we're unstoppable. It's crazy what we can do when we can operate in those two things. Okay, so the subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what's imagined. The conscious mind is the filter and the chooser of what goes into the subconscious mind by way of agreement or disagreement. It's a little bit about what I just explained. So the subconscious doesn't know, but what comes into the conscious awareness, you get to say yes or no to that. If you agree, it gets imprinted on the subconscious mind. And then that is what manifests through your body, in your world, what comes into your existence. So, what are you choosing to feed your subconscious mind? This is where the work comes in. Because a lot of times we are programmed from birth. We are programmed I believe, on a cellular structure when we're born with things from our parents. We inherit some things generationally and all of that stuff. And so, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but you have the power to change that. And so, what are you going to choose to feed your conscious mind? And are you going to do the work it takes up front to consciously wake up and start making new decisions? That's where the work comes in. And I think that's where a lot of people, pause, I guess, because it feels hard in the beginning. It's like you're operating over here and you feel sad and you feel angry and you don't love yourself and you don't really love anyone else around you. You get frustrated easily, annoyed, and nothing seems to work out and whatever, is going on over here. And then you start to decide, okay, I'm going to operate in love today. I'm going to operate in forgiveness and have grace for others and for myself. I'm going to learn to love myself. I'm going to talk nicer to myself. I'm going to, whatever the thing is over here. And so we'll do this for like a day or like a half a day. And then something happens. We perceive it to be a negative threat or whatever. And so then we come over here and we have the reaction, the knee-jerk reaction that we've always had. It kicks in naturally, it's instinct. So now we're back over here on this operating reality. Okay, so we're going to choose this one again. And that's a hard switch. It's easy to fall back into. It can feel hard to come over here again. and it gets exhausting going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But what happens is, especially when you work with a coach that can be here beside you and leading you and filling you with energy and believing in you before you believe in yourself, what happens is you start staying over here for like 2 days, and then you have a day over here, and then you have 3 or 4 days over here, then 1 or 2 days over here, and then 5 or 6 days. So eventually you're spending more time over here being the person you want to be versus being the person that you used to be. And so it's this back and forth, and you start being more consistent over here, and letting this go. So, do you tend to use your imagination for the worst case scenario or the best? So, if you're able to, I would love to hear your response in the chat. You can type it in. But do you tend to use your imagination for the worst case scenarios? Like, I bet this doesn't work out. Oh, I'm probably gonna pick the longest line. Oh man, we're probably gonna have a tornado with pineapple-sized hail today, and it's gonna be terrible. And like, what does your imagination naturally inclined to? When you have conversations with people, do you expect it to go well, or do you expect it to be horrible if you're, in confrontation or whatever, like what's your expectation of that? Like what is your natural instinct? Is it for the good, for the worst case scenario, or the best case scenario? Is anyone with me out there? Also, I would love to hear from you guys. If this is your first time being on a summit, put a one in the chat if it's your first time. If this is not your first time, you've been around a minute, put a two. Okay, we have a response here. Negative aspect, usually. Okay, and even for yourself, when you think about yourself, when you look in the mirror, do you have the worst case scenario for yourself and only see the negative? Or do you have the best case scenario and see the positive? Okay, so we have two questions in the chat. We are talking about, okay, generally positive, awesome, and it's her first time on a summit, fabulous. And then we have a repeat offender, and then okay, this is good, good, good. Right, yeah. So for a lot of us, I would say, I know for me, mine was negative, and I did not realize how negative I was until I had a coach and I started working on my mindset, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I got some work to do, and a lot of it was towards myself. And so it can it can be very eye-opening, as we um start to do this work. Okay, so where would you rate yourself on a scale of vibrational frequency? So everything vibrates, nothing rests. That's basically the law of attraction. Every molecule, the only difference that makes this phone look like a phone and this pen look like a pen is the way the molecules are vibrating differently between the two. Okay, so everything has energy and it has frequency, and we can now measure that frequency within people. And I think Joe Dispenza works on this as well. I forgot what the machine is called, but it's measured in hertz. And so people that have a higher vibrational frequency, theirs could be measured like 3 to 6 meters away from their body. People that have a lower vibrational frequency usually can only be reached about 3 to 6 inches away from their body. And what this does, so everything is, so even like cancer has vibrational frequency, bacterias, viruses, foods, literally everything inside of your room has a vibrational frequency. When you go outside, trees, rocks, like everything has a frequency. And so generally, let's say if we want to be healthy, we want to feel energetic and rested and clear-minded and all of these things, that vibrational frequency is going to be up here. Money has a vibrational frequency. Like when someone says, "Man, I feel like $1 million today." Okay, that's a feeling. That is a frequency. And so many times we'll have goals in life that, we want to do these things. And let's say that thing is on a vibrational frequency that's up here, but we're operating down here in the I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, I don't have time. Um, I've got to sacrifice myself for my kids, like whatever it is, that is a vibrational frequency that's operating down here. Emotions like anger, sadness, depression, whatever we do not express is depressed. And so this is a frequency down here. And when you think about people and relationships, if you're operating down here, but you have this idea of a mate or relationship with your kids or friendships, whatever it is, and that feels different up here, but you feel down here, do you know what you're going to attract? Nothing up here. You're going to attract something on your vibrational frequency right here. And if you do attract something up here, generally what happens is we self-sabotage and we drop back down here and we lose connection with that thing, whether it's a person or whether it's in business. If you have this idea of like, oh, I want to reach this many people and sell this many things and do the whatever it is, business starts to come and you start to feel overwhelmed and not worthy and not capable, and you're operating down here, you're going to self-sabotage your business based off how you feel about yourself. It's true in everything. So we have to become a vibrational match to the things we desire if we want to have them or achieve them or be them. So it comes down to us being it first before we see it in our external world. A lot of people have that backwards. They think that once they have the money, once they have the relationship, once they have the car, once they have the business, then they'll be happy and grateful and appreciative and enjoy life and be free and be carefree, light-spirited, light-hearted, have fun. We'll do all the things then. It's not how it works because you know what happens? We get to the goals and we just move the goalpost. Or we feel, instead of feeling grateful that we're there, we feel all the stress and pressure to keep it once we're there. So the problems don't go away once we have more money. They just, or a bigger business or whatever, they just become bigger problems to solve. And so are you a bigger person at that point? Have you grown into bigger, deeper character to be able to handle those bigger problems with more people involved and more everything? And so, even relationships, any of it, like with your physical health, like all of the things come down to vibrational frequency. So, are you a vibrational match to what it is that you desire? Are you practicing? So, if you believe that having the money, the job, the house, the spouse, the whatever, having these things equals you being happy, fulfilled, at peace, free, whatever over here. If this is a math equation and this side equals this side, then the opposite is also true. This side over here, when you go ahead and start practicing gratitude, start practicing being happy anyways, start practicing being at peace, start practicing feeling free no matter what, then this equals these things over here. This is why it comes down to you first. You can't control all this out here and when that's going to happen and how it's going to unfold. And when you do try to control it, it starts to get real stressful. What you can control is this piece of the puzzle over here and what is happening within you as a person. Who you are being, who you are showing up as each and every day, where your vibrational frequency is set to. So if you look at the bottom of that page, mine's page 4, so it's somewhere around page 4, under byproduct of thought, it says, where would you rate yourself on a scale of vibrational frequency? Um, So where are you? I was at the very low. Like I would say maybe the second or third line up. And then the life I wanted to have was like at an 8 or 9, like up at the top. They didn't match. So look at that, see if they match. And then let's see like, okay, well, how do we close that gap? How do we get there? Okay, then the next page is just notes, but I love the quote on it. It says, all potentials that exist in the quantum field exist in the present moment. So anything that you think up in your mind that you would love and you could see it and imagine it out there, that is called a potential. And that exists already in the present moment as potentials electromagnetically. So everything's already here. Creation is finished. Money's here. Opportunities are here. Relationships are here. People are here. Are you a match to those things? Our job is to change our energy to match those potentials that already exist in the quantum field. Then you start drawing that experience to you, and that is what is called a quantum leap, is when you condense time and space to reach the place where you want to be. Okay, so awareness is key. We're kind of moving some things around. I know this was supposed to be day 2, but our guest speaker can come tomorrow, so we're going to bump this up to today. All right, so Take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. That is a command. If that is a command, then it means that we are able to do it. I know in our world today, we are told that we cannot control our thoughts, we cannot control our emotions. It's beyond us. I'm here to tell you that I believe with practice, this might not come easy in the beginning, but I believe that with practice, we are able to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, which I believe we have help in doing that when we are receptive to that help. And I want to give you hope and not as judgment. Like I said, sometimes that first reaction, that first thought to a thing, that we might not be able to control as easily. But the second one, what we choose to do with that, we do get to control that. Whether we're going to see ourselves as a victim to something or whether we're going to see the best possible scenario and the best way out of this thing, you have the opportunity to decide what you're going to do with every single thing that you have been given in this life, every card that you've been dealt, whether it fit in the hand that you had already or not. Like you get to choose how you're going to play them and what you're going to do with them. So, if mental stamina was a muscle, on a scale from 0 to 10, how strong do you feel in this area? Um, I was not keeping the chat. So we had some negative. It was negative, better now. Okay. So what would you rate your mental stamina? If you could drop a number in the chat, 0 to 10, what would you rate your mental stamina today? For me, before I started doing any mindset work, I'd say I was about a 3. Like, I thought I had some mental stamina, like I played sports growing up and I tried to make good grades and have a good attitude and all that stuff, but I did not realize what mental stamina really was and what it actually takes till I started putting myself in positions that required mental stamina. And I have built that muscle and built that muscle and built that muscle, and I'm sure it still has a long ways to go. I think it's something we can always build upon. Um, but it is in our world today, especially with marketing campaigns, with I don't know, the government and all the things that they're doing, with schools and the way the system works, with just where we're at in society today. If you do not develop your own mental stamina, your own ability to create something in your imagination and hold your focused attention on it, then everything is going to be created for you. And so I really want to empower you today that you have the ability to build this mental stamina. And that is what will go back and create the actions that you're going to take every single day to develop the outcomes in your life that you desire having. And when you think you've developed mental stamina, you will have opportunities presented to you to be able to develop even more. So, this is an ever expanding thing that we can always grow in. Okay, so what emotions are produced by the thoughts running through your head? Mostly negative emotions or mostly positive emotions. So we talked about the thoughts, and then think about the actions. If we go back to that wheelhouse, based off your thoughts of like maybe I'm not good enough or I'm not pretty enough or I'm not whatever, worthy of anything more. A lot of times these are layers that we don't realize we have these beliefs until someone kind of helps. Like when we start talking about things with a coach or with someone who can like basically interpret us, then it's kind of like a mirror. It's just a reflection of like, oh, this is how I really think about this or about myself. And so then the emotions that we're feeling, that is what our body is responding to. So if the thoughts were negative, what are the emotions that we have? Usually it's probably some type of sadness, maybe some anger, maybe some like annoyance, irritability, frustrations, whatever that might look like for you. What are those, fear, guilt, anxiety, that usually stems from a lot of our thoughts. So then, but if we're mostly in the positive, then we might feel happy. We might feel satisfied, ease and flow, healthy, clarity. Like those are the emotions that come from not just positive thoughts. Like I feel like that gets overused. Like, but like truth about us. Like what is actually true about us? Not relatively true, but what is actually true? And what are we going to decide that is true about who we are and our character? So, what are some common phrases that run through your head on repeat? So I really highly encourage you to write this down if you're able to. And if you're not right now, like go back and write this down tonight. But think about it. What are some common phrases that run through your head on repeat? These could be from yourself or from others. So it could be something some kids said when you were in school, something that your parents used to always tell you. It could pertain to money or like who you are or what you're capable of in your future or I don't know, it might be something about them even. Like sometimes our parents feel a certain way, and then we take that on as kids to be true about who we are because we're an extension of them. So, um, it could be from a teacher, a coworker, a boss. Maybe you got a bad review on something like, I don't know, whatever it is, write down like what are some phrases. I know for me, one of them, I had a friend come over one time and make a comment about how messy my house was and like how I just wasn't keeping up with things. And like that really got to me because I really do try my best. And so every morning when I woke up, if there were dishes in the sink, I would talk to myself so horrible, and that would just run on repeat. Oh my gosh, just can't keep up with anything around here. It's always such a mess around here. Like, how do we live in this place? Like just on and on and on. And what's crazy about your thoughts is you have about 7 seconds. Your mind is going to link something. So if you're on a positive trajectory, if you wake up and you start filling your mind with positive things, you have 7 seconds and you will think another thought in alignment with the first, in alignment with the first. So your day is going to be better and better and better. If you wake up and you are already in a negative place and you let that keep going, negative, negative, 7 more seconds, you're going to have another thought in alignment with the first and another thought in alignment with the first. And so your day is going downhill real fast. And then anything that comes up in your day that feels stressful or inconvenient or whatever is boom, you have another chain in that link. And then your perception of it is already negative because you're already in a negative state. So your thoughts matter so much, and your trajectory of those thoughts matter. Okay, so why do emotions matter? Um, it strengthens our thoughts and it creates the beliefs, which create the outcomes. So when we continue to think a thought, then we have more emotion about it and more emotion about it. And that can build. It can build real fast, especially in certain areas that might be tender to our hearts. Those emotions can build very, very quickly. And so this also solidifies beliefs. Your emotions start to solidify your beliefs. And then when that happens, you start taking action from that place. So if emotions stem from thoughts and beliefs stem from repeated thoughts and emotions, then what thoughts would benefit you to change? So if you're seeing this cycle and you trace it all the way back to your thoughts, hopefully you're becoming aware of some thoughts and emotions that you feel that are not serving you. So which ones of those could you pick maybe two or three things to work on that you're going to start changing today? You're not waiting till tomorrow. You're not waiting till you have it figured out. You're not waiting till the money's in the account or the spouse acts like they're supposed to or the kids behave like they're supposed to or business takes off like you thought it would. You're not waiting for any of that. What could you change today about how you're going to think and how you're going to feel? So, what could you replace the above thought pattern with? So, it's not enough just to say, like, I'm not going to think that anymore. I'm just not going to think anymore. You're never not going to think. We're always thinking a thought. Okay. We have to replace them. What could you start replacing these things with? Well, sometimes we're like, well, I don't know. I've been stuck in this way for so long. I don't know anything else. And when I coach people, a lot of times they'll check out and go unconscious and say they don't know. The thing is, we all know. And I don't have the answer for you. You have the answer for you. But I help you unlock it and find it within yourself. So a lot of times it's just the exact opposite. Many times we can identify what we don't want or what's not working out in our life, but we have trouble finding gratitude for the things that are. So if we identify the things that are driving us crazy the most or feel the most stressful or heavy or whatever, think of the exact opposite and start plugging that into your brain. Okay. So then notice how you feel. Like it's like trying on a shirt. Like, a new shirt. You try it on, and do you like it or do you not? So this you can do the same thing with thought patterns and words. Try them on. Try on a new thought and see if you like it. Play out something in your imagination, see if you like where it goes. Just try it and see what happens and then start practicing that. Start being that. Start talking that way. Start showing up that way. Start dressing that way. Start I don't know, treating people that way, like treating yourself the way that you deserve to be treated. So, and then notice how you feel. What actions do you feel inspired to take now from this place of alignment? So, taking inspired actions. Inspired just means in spirit. So, this is where power comes in. When we are in spirit, when we have our goals, when we have a clear vision, and we know the actions that we're going to take, you don't have to know all of them. You don't have to know what's ahead in 20 years. No one knows. Like, no one knew COVID was coming and everything was going to go haywire. I don't care how much money you had in the bank, what kind of great business you had, whatever. Like, and no one knew that. So everyone just took the next aligned step. Like they just did the next best thing that they could see ahead. They pivoted and did the next best thing. That's what we're all doing. And so, when you feel inspired, when you start to adjust your thoughts and your emotions, what actions, like after you get that set, then start taking actions for the day. Don't take your actions for the day when you're in a low vibrational frequency because you're going to take actions that align with that. You're going to speak words that align with that. In an unconscious way, you will speak that way. So get your energy in a great place and then go take inspired actions because those will be so much more effective than just running through your day on autopilot. Okay, so I hope that that was helpful. Um, like I said, tomorrow our guest speaker is going to be on. We're going to dive into alignment and persistence, and then we're going to hear her story, and I'm super, super excited about that. Um, Really quickly, if you are looking to work with us, so this client that's coming on tomorrow in her story, she worked with me for 6 months. Because a lot of times we've had these thoughts and these emotions and this, we have trauma, we have layers. It could be a horrible trauma. It could be just what is the worst trauma that you've personally had. But this stuff, it took time for us to get where we are. And sometimes it takes time for us to get to where we're going. And so that's why I love working with people for 6 months. And Transform is the course that we are opening up the doors to for this week. That is the 6 month course where we cover physical health. It is a very in depth. We spend 3 weeks just doing assessments on your physical, mental, and spiritual health. We do a nervous system reset at the very beginning. We get clarity on what it is you want, where you're headed, what you want out of the program. And then we start to move into, laying that foundation for physical health first. We work on gut health, sleep, nutrition, hydration, genetics, things like Epstein-Barr, just all kinds of things. We go through adrenal fatigue, all this stuff. So that is, and Joyce is putting a flyer over here in the chat. If you guys want to check that out, you can. It would be very helpful. It has like every week, it's 26 weeks long. So it has every week what we're covering. And then I can't read it without clicking on it, but other things that you might want to know. But anyhow, the clients that I work with, they come out and they are sleeping better. Their gut health is better. Like usually when we're in need of a transformation, there's a lot of underlying things going on within our body. Cortisol levels are high, adrenaline's high, hormones are usually unbalanced, but lots of ideas and suggestions there for getting your body in a good place. Because sometimes when the body is so depleted, it's really tough to come in and do the mindset work. Or when you're not sleeping well, you cannot come in and do mindset work if you're not sleeping well. Like it just is not going to happen. That is when those neural pathways reconnect and you can form new neural pathways is when you sleep. We have to sleep. So we work on that, and then we start working in, we spend 3 or more. With this client that's coming on tomorrow, we spent more than 3 weeks on releasing, forgiving, doing some energetic work, like clearing the slate. And that is such a place of freedom to be found. And like just you can see in her face, you can see it in her eyes, like she is so much more alive. Like it is so cool to see that. And so Joyce comes in and works on processing. If you're local, you can come in at the store. We can do some physical work on the table. So I really enjoy those sessions of clearing that slate, and then we move into the mindset work. So we have a clean canvas to work from. And remember, I said you're never not thinking a thought. So it's not enough to just clean the canvas. Like we have to start replacing these thought processes and things with things that we do choose. And so we get clarity on where we're headed. We talk about manifestation. We talk about shifting our perception. We talk about all kinds of things moving forward from there. So it starts to get really, really fun towards the end and working with people. So this is kind of what we have available right now for you. Like I said, these clients, it's so fun to see. I'm just excited for you to hear her story. I'm gonna let her tell her story tomorrow. But like I said, sleep, mindset, work, all of the above, it changes every aspect of life. It trickles down into people's families. I had one client that started buying gratitude journals for her granddaughters. Marriages have been changed. I would even venture to say I know a marriage that has been saved. Um, uh, just we've worked through so many traumas that I really choose to keep things confidential with my clients. But you would be surprised at the traumas that people have went through that they have told no one about. So you are not alone. And I would almost venture to bet that there's not something out there. If you think that we haven't walked through some things with people, I don't think that your story is unmanageable, I guess might be the right word. Um, I think that we can help just about anyone. And so anyhow, if this is something you're interested in, book a call with me. We can figure out, pricing and things like that. Typically, it is $7,800. There's weekly sessions, weekly group calls, and a one-on-one session every other week. So it is very handheld. We are with you in the thing. It's also on your own time. You can watch the lesson anytime during the week. Just as long as you kind of keep up weekly, unlimited messaging support Monday through Fridays. So we're available for you. Like we're very invested in you. I know that that is a large investment up front, but we are very invested in you and in your outcomes. And we always have our goals set to where we're going towards the end. And we do our absolute best to make sure that you get there. And so far, every client that I've had has been very pleased with their results that they got. So that is $800 off right now through the summit. So um, that will probably end on Friday. Listen, I'm like so sure about myself. Probably end on Friday. I should have looked at my notes. It will. It will end on Friday. So that $800 off ends on Friday. If you're already in the membership, that is the monthly membership, you have client credits also that you can apply on top of that $800. So we'll look back, see how long you've been in the membership, and see how much client credit you've built up. We can add that in addition to the discount. What else? We can also do payment plans if we need to do that. It's $2,500 down, and then we'll work out the rest of the payment schedule depending on what your discount is. So that is what we have. If you have further questions on that, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer them. And if that is a steep investment for you, reach out because I also have some other options as well. But this is what we're featuring for this summit. Okay, we will be on. Oh, homework really quickly. If you guys could go in the group and post a new awareness that you had today that you did not have before the session, I would really appreciate that. We have a guide with 30 grounding techniques that Joyce has put together for us. So if you complete your homework every day, there's only 3 days. So just go in there and post, make a quick post of one new awareness you had from the summit today. And the homework post will go out at 1 p.m. Oh, okay, she's gonna make a post and you can make a thread underneath it with comments. Um, and we'll try to tag everyone, make sure you are able to see that. But we would love to hear what your awarenesses are because I also love to see like what is helping people. Like what do we need to talk about moving forward as well? So how can I make the most of your time here? So if you'll go in and do that, that'd be super helpful. And then, like I said, complete all 3 days of that. We will give you the free 30 grounding techniques that will help with your nervous system. Okay, that I think is everything. The replay will be coming out shortly. We're only 3 minutes over, so we did really good. I know we covered a lot today. So if you guys are able to be on live tomorrow, I am telling you it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it, and we'll be on at the same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm so thankful that you guys were here. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.